too much from today, but maybe they'll be inclined to say something here. Uh, I'm talking about you, Heidi. How are you
I
doing, Heidi?
I'm good. I'm having a very different experience than I'm typically used to. So,
So, do you
but
care to comment on your experience, or is that something that you're not prepared to?
no, I'm fine commenting. It's very synchronous. I When I first logged on, I thought, okay, I got to come up with a question, but then I heard you're not going to be asking a question today, and I was like, I'm not. And then I started to get very tired.
Hmm.
And then I laid down and I fell asleep for a half hour while the session went. And when I woke up, I woke up and within a few seconds, Chris was talking about in the dream state and exchanges that are made in the dream state, and we may or may not remember them. Now I don't remember. I don't remember what I dreamed about. I don't remember anything. And it was one of those sleeps where you have no idea how much time has passed. Well, I guess all sleep is like that, but sometimes you kind of have a feeling like I didn't sleep very long. I had no idea how much time had passed other than I knew that the hour session was still going. So that's why when I put my camera back on, I just started laughing because it was so very synchronous, you know, and then and then just the beautiful energy of grandmother Charlotte and Mother Grace and just I hope I said that correctly.
Hmm.
But just their beautiful messages and oh well all of the messages but just that I don't know if I'm projecting, but I just feel like such a motherly loving energy from them to all of us. So yeah, it's been such a beautiful session.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm always delighted to see you
Thank
and the energy that you share. Thank you.
So I'm getting
Will,
my
how are you
crystals
doing?
ready.
Willow. Yeah, say that again.
Oh, I just said, so I'm getting my crystals ready and
Well, I thought that you'd be interested in that subject matter quite a bit, actually, uh, for a whole bunch of reasons. You have expressed that in the past, your affinity to crystals and messages and so forth.
yeah.
So
So thank you for all of that.
you're welcome. Okay. So I'm kind of scanning here. Willow, how are we doing?
Very good. I feel very relaxed and peaceful, which is quite different for me because usually I'm buzzing with excitement all the time. So I think the energy today helped to ground me a lot because there was a lot of talk about the earth and connecting with nature and the wisdom from the beings that don't have voices, the nature beings. So that was helpful for me. And it was just nice to absorb everything on a more multi-dimensional level and allow my conscious mind to sort of go on silent for a while and just absorb things in different ways.
There
So
were
I
some
found it
very good
very
messages
helpful.
also about, we want open contact. We better get ready for it.
Yes.
At large. So somehow we have to be a positive influence to our little environments, little world, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Getting everything ready for what's about to come.
I happen to think that every time that I've experienced you, I feel what can I say? The magic of joy, which I saw a lot tonight with Brother Francis too. You know, he has that child in him working really well as well.
Yes. I definitely feel the
Okay,
energy
so here
of
we have
everyone.
That's this is the stone. It has five or six different faces on it, including a kind of weird three dot inclusion that has three different types of stuff in it. It looks like a like kind of like a like a die, but it has three different kinds of stuff in it. They're all three different colors. And the message it gave me was that we are not, it wasn't from the tall whites. The tall whites were utilized to give this to me. We are not of your, whatever they said, experience, but we support your mission. It wasn't, that's not exactly correct. It was part me, part mission, part maybe Earth Collective or whatever. We are not going to be in your experience, but on behalf of other beings, we wanted to say hi. I don't know. Maybe it's like some far off fan club or something. But it was really cool energy, I gotta tell you that. And and also, I don't know if you've ever picked up a stone and you said, "Oh my gosh, this just fits my hand so well." It's a marvelous thing.
Could you put it closer to the camera so we can
I
kind of
c-
appreciate it better and
well,
just hold it steady for a second? Maybe the camera will, right there.
Hmm. Yeah, there are faces in there.
Yeah,
It's
plenty
kind
of
of
I'm gonna
like a
faces.
I'm gonna
murder.
I'm just going to. And this looks like a buffalo or something.
Oh my God. Ray, you got lots of faces, and one that comes to me is an ET kind of face.
Hmm.
Ray, you
ET
see,
got a face
one
and
thing
reach
that
it
we
out.
didn't talk about here is that there are stones out there that they're not of this earth. Okay, they're fragments from meteorites, and
Let
they're
me see.
scattered in more places than we're told.
Yeah, and
Uh,
and then it on the bottom it looked like it has like a glyph of some
hey, hold it
kind
steady.
or whatever.
So, yeah, well, I see other faces in there.
Yeah, it's like I said, I
Yeah,
saw 6 or 7.
yeah,
So we'll see who comes through.
sure.
Well, yeah, 'cause yes, Willow, if you unmute, you can ask a question.
Well, I was just thinking, what if that rock sort of acts as a ship for those beings to travel in? You know, it's like a craft encasing their energy. So they're kind of looking out of the rock. And that's why you see their faces on the surface of the rock. It's
Eh,
like encapsulating all of their energies in one singular object.
That's a great idea. And one of the things which came to me early on in my metaphysical exploration, because when I made myself available for any beneficial being which wished to share my physical experience, there were beings who had never had or considered a physical experience. But what ended up happening was they would end up obtaining that experience from other beings which they were associated with, which obtained that it was, like a chain letter that went through, and they were able to pick that up, and they appreciated that opportunity and left me energetic calling cards at times because it was so weird and foreign.
That's so interesting. And it
Yeah,
totally
and
makes sense because beings will have, they will access whatever they are vibrationally compatible with. So if there's some
yep,
information they want, but it's not in the correct form
12
that they can
seconds right
receive it
now.
in, they'll, yeah, yeah.
So, anybody that wants to chime in about anything tonight can do so right now. Oops,
I missed my tea. Sorry.
that's
Or
okay.
maybe
You know,
maybe it was
we
calling
just
out to
asked to
me.
see if anybody else wanted
Maybe we
to.
were calling to each other. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. If anybody wants to answer to my call, if not, I guess we move on.
Yeah. And I am very curious about this part myself. They did come to me earlier today with other information. And I have been putting that in that shared G drive for those of us in the messenger group too. So um, let me
There
call
you
them
go.
in.
Yeah.
And the human uses the permission slip provided even when unnecessary. We have chosen this time, as you give it, to explore a little further some of the nuances, threads, intentions of some of the concepts which were provided in the previous session. And thank you for your continuation of various permissions. And we will throw it out there again that we wish to review, tap into thoughts to obtain context and better ways of formulating our integration procedures for us and others who will benefit from those. We have come to you to find out what is important to each of you in your personal quest for open contact with others outside your physical realm as you pretend it to be. And it is not important that you vocalize that information, but we do allow or ask that you allow us to touch you in the ways which make such meaningful sharings possible for the designs, utilizations, methods we have prescribed to assist in the flow of these interactions. We have established the substation. The channel has inquired of us earlier, which will make these encounters less taxing for all involved. And your appreciation of the consciousness which is establishing a midway intermediary mediumship with us to enable the more natural, efficient flowing of this exchange. It is not necessary, but positive energetic support. And we use that judgmental term for your benefit, has a supporting and enlivening and potentially expansive effect on those types of energetic creations, even if they may not be able to comprehend. It is the energy which is important. There is some time yet before the recognition of interactions between us and we shall not complete that thought. There are constraints which are helpful in maintaining your presence without having such details to allow the more natural unfoldment. But know all of this information, which we may choose not to provide you at this time, is available to you, as all information is, if it is relevant and allowed. We draw inferences from the questions which are contemplated, and we would like to entertain those questions from you to help us help you. We would like for barriers to be removed that you see in your personal life, things which stand between are merely energies to be reassembled in more conducive ways. And we thank you, for we are learning.
There's a question from Christiana.
Greetings. Thank you for the co-creation and for the offer of friendship. You mentioned earlier that you were interested in learning about each person's intentions. Did I understand that correctly? Like with regards to contact with Star Nations?
The language which we have to entertain is not always precise. We wish to explore how each human feels that their roles may be in regards to contact, which will help us extrapolate probabilities in some way on how best to integrate the matching pieces which flow easily or more easily into your societies a little at a time. And the channel has picked up on another aspect of our mission as he became aware, attracted. The information on hybrids between many species, including ours, which is another cause of interest of ours in this integration into the future which humans become. We understand humans find such disclosures helpful or interesting.
Personally, I look forward to many co-creations with as many star beings as possible. That is, I have quite big plans, so that is part of my excitement.
We suggest that you narrow your field of thought possibilities to the beings which will benefit you and benefit the various missions more efficiently. We always err on the side of flow, so there is no error. And we have achieved our aims and are grateful for adding to our experience in this way. And we look forward to further mingling of energies in new ways, which shall mean more to you when the time has arrived as you will it. And we remember to say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Hmm.
Oh, that's worse than trying to take off a wet pair of jeans. Oh, holy shit.
These interactions with the tall whites are becoming longer, Ray, for you. I'm talking about the personal ones that you're having.
Oh. One moment, please.
Okay, take your time.
The personal sessions that I have, they do not see any necessity for recording or speaking when they can just give me the ideas, instruct me to put it down, and communicate another 4 times that information in a download that goes to reference to it to help me explain it later on when it pops up or whatever else the purposes are. So let me see I'll give you a glimpse. Let me see what I did, what they gave me today, which
Well, I
was,
was
go ahead.
interested in whether the communications are getting a little bit longer with you, you know?
I mean, my recovery time was a little bit shorter, I think, and I noticed that their um, speaking ability flowed so much faster than
Right. I
it had
noticed that too.
previously.
Yeah.
So,
But you're doing it quite frequently now, right?
yeah, whenever they want to come through, and they are always here. So, um, it's not like they're not ready. But they have realized, because they've given me things to do and I have other things to do. So they understand that it's going to get done, and that's why they kind of told me there are others. So they have a mission and they're going to get their mission done. And to the extent where I can participate and help them, then that is it. But if it requires more, then they are going to fulfill their mission and it's going to flow naturally. And that's what we do. And there is nothing else to that in my experience. Oh, today they told me about the substation. Yes, they told me their substation will be an energetic, non-physical form of limited consciousness which can receive, transmit, and store the frequencies required to send and store messages. And they will then be able to read the mind of that consciousness and seemingly respond in our human time.
So it's sort of like a transformer that is
Yeah,
interface to them and to us at different, a more appropriate vibrational connection to us and a more appropriate vibrational connection to them, some
right.
translating in the middle,
Yeah,
that
like
sort of thing.
remote viewing. They just set up, a game camera that can transmit back, and they're just viewing it remotely, so it's more efficient for them because they don't have to expend all this energy. They don't have to expend energy at all for the most part because they can tap into this at any time because they are outside of time.
Sure.
So that's my take anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And thank you all for supporting all of this energy and stuff like that. So we can talk about this stuff and have people ask intelligent questions. And golly, I mean, think about how many of these conversations we've had around holiday dinners. They would not remain peaceful very long, I don't think. I guess that depends on your family. I don't want to make any inferences here, but
You better have a small family.
yeah.
Ray, are you
Anyway.
talking about them having like a telepathic or connection to people? Is that what you're saying?
I can't vouch for them. That's what they do to me. But when they said that, they're asking, and and none of the words about what they wish to do with thoughts mean what they intend to do. Basically, they just want to scan everything, see if they can make sense, and use what's there to make better sense of this over here. Kind of like developing a learning language model or language learning model, whatever way you want to call it. And it's the information and who it comes from is irrelevant. It's how it helps them to integrate and learn more and increase their understanding of humanity.
So I'm getting the impression, and please correct me if I'm getting the impression, non-biased, non-judgmental observation,
Yep. They,
just information gathering, learning. Is that
yeah.
what they're looking for?
hmm Because I'm sorry, go ahead, Louise.
I was just going to say pure discernment, pure.
Because, I mean, if you look at the English language, now, if it was another language that which was not fraught with all of these potholes and misdirections and double entendres and whatever else we have, like, like we said last time, they used the phrase real time and they had a big chuckle about it because of how ludicrous it is. Because I have the phrase real time in my head when they know that all time is simultaneous and time is not real, and yet I still use it to explain and refer to things, which when you're a pure, I'm not saying pure, but when you're a consciousness that only deals in the now moment and everything that exists as it is in a total acceptance way, and you're able to anticipate those energetic flows because that's the nature of your being, so you can support and add a little bit here and whatever to keep everything flowing. It's it's just a different perspective. it it's
It's
incredible, and I don't even know that I can really explain it, but they don't like our language, I can guarantee you that.
Well, it's inaccurate. Our language is inaccurate because I don't know if we realize it or not, but half the time we don't say what we're thinking anyway. We're
Hmm.
lying to ourselves, because we have all these social structures in place about how we want to be a good person and everything. And when you are thought to thought, you get to the point where it's like, I don't need to hide anything because there's there's no way to hide
Yeah,
anything.
not
And
just thought to
it's just all
thought, but
pure communication at that point. Then it
yep,
becomes pure communication.
but
So I can
emotions,
see
when
why
they
they,
can read the emotions that are
yes,
behind the thoughts as well,
yes. Then
Yeah.
you can really understand their intention because even, thoughts, we're so programmed with language that even our thoughts get translated into language in our minds. And so when you can feel the emotion and you get the real intention. So I can see why they don't like language.
Yeah. And I
Human
will.
has this, yeah, sorry. Human has this thing about their communication that sometimes people are using the same terminology, but they really are talking about something else. And they can have a conversation, kind of, until one of them may get angry at something the other one said, but they can actually have a conversation and they're not really talking about the same thing.
and
It's a very interesting thing that,
And I do want to add one of the overlays that the tall whites were looking for was to fine tune their ways of obtaining information. They apparently had a large enough sample size that was diverse enough to allow them to set some parameters, and they were testing out in ways some of their equipment, methods, processes, and I'm starting to talk like them now. Um, so, so it would make their processes more efficient going forward. It's like, oh my gosh, they're always hooked on process improvements, is the way I'm thinking. I don't know, unless, because when everything flows the way it's supposed to, their minds are off elsewhere and they pay no attention at all to what's going on when they're doing all of this complex, intricate weaving with all of these various energies. And I can't even wrap my head around it. It sounds ridiculous to me just hear it come out of my mouth because it's so outside what I can bring into my 3D, 4D, whatever it is realm.
So it's kind of sounds like it's second nature to them, kind of like us driving a car, and you get to your you get to your destination and that it was so automatic that you don't even remember half of
Well,
the
it's
half of the journey.
And I think it's more like crochet or needlepoint, where you could be doing all kinds of things and doing Sudoku in your head while your hands are just busy, creating all of this stuff because you have the energetic flow of creation which is coming through you. And once we take that consciousness out of it, it just goes wild. I love that. And we all love that. That's one of the feelings that we're always searching for. You know, everybody likes it when we get those moments when we just zone out. We're like, oh my gosh, this is really fuzzy and warm, and I love this. And I don't know that I want it to end. And somebody says something to you, they mention your name and say, yeah. And you're like, well, shit. I see that's common. Anyway. But yeah, they were pleased. Willow, please chime in.
Bye. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the whole evening, but I do have to sign off now to go let my little dog outside. So
Yes,
thank you
I
for
need
all
to do
the
that myself.
thank
Thank
you
you.
and all the
Good
channeling. It's
good
wonderful.
night, Willow. Thank you.
Much
Yes,
love to everybody.
See
appreciate
you
it.
soon again.
Thank you, Willow. Bye now.
So I want to welcome Simone into our group. She came in late, partially because I forgot to send the link.
Oh, the
So,
nerve.
she's in Colorado, and she has an interest in what we're doing. She's a channeler herself, among other things, of course. She's got a multitude of things. Anyway, so we welcome her, and
Yay.
you're welcome to say hello to the group if you wish.
Hi. Sorry that
Hey,
I made it at the very end. I really would have loved to have seen what was going on, but the energy feels really awesome. So thank
yeah.
you.
The group meets every Sunday, and the link that I send you is good for every Sunday. So
Okay, perfect.
feel free to join us for
And
sure.
and thank you for adding your energy as well.
Yeah, she caught you right probably the last few minutes. So
Right as you it looked like
yeah,
you were coming out. So
yeah. There
Yeah,
you go.
that is not the most pleasant of experiences, but they know I don't care, so they don't care. So, and that's the way we both like it. But yeah, but they are making progress. I like that fact. Well,
Yeah,
of course,
for
I mean
sure.
that's the natural way of things, but it's nice seeing how that progress is manifesting in only one, public engagement, I would guess, since Thursday. I mean, that was the only first one for the group.
wow.
It's and this just came on at the beginning of May. Is it Simone or how do you?
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh,
yeah,
so
this
you've
is
only started you
no.
started in May.
The tall whites came in, and the hybrid children both came
You
in
may
in
want
May.
to tell your story altogether, Ray.
Oh, would
Oh
you? Sorry if
yeah.
I know everybody else probably heard it.
Well,
No, we
yeah,
want to
no,
hear it again.
no, yeah,
Ray does not mind being asked that
he
question.
is being very facetious, let
Oh.
me tell you. Once upon a time in a land not too far, no, just I've been involved in channeling. I transcribed sessions for about 3 years, and then the channeler in one session took a hiatus for business and personal reasons and having two children under five. And then somebody else stepped in and wanted to do it part time in the high vibe channeling group. And then I was told to find other people to fill in all the other ones. And that's how our high vibe channeling group came about. And in the beginning of that, I had the idea of channeling myself became more interesting. And then one of the entities said, hey, we have a tall white who wants to come through you. And I'm like, okay. And then later that week, another entity, Raven, who is channeled by Patrick Godine, who is a Yael, contacted Patrick and said, hey, I'm going to give him a lesson. And she kept bugging him until he actually called me up and we gave the lesson. And she told me to write everything down that came into my head to show up at the same time every day and clear my thoughts. And I did that. And like they sent me 7 different insects the first 7 days. And it just went from there. And they had me record it on video, everything, all of the thoughts that came to me. So I would have their thoughts coming through myself. Their words would come out my mouth. And then after 3 weeks, I just started speaking whatever came into my head, and it took off then. That was the beings of light And then in February, I learned from another channeler how to do the Pleiadian contact meditation. And because I have a female counterpart there and it's far in the future, which is not going to intersect our timeline, but I connected with them, and then I had been inviting the hybrid children and many other beings into my channeling for the beings of light. And the hybrid children said they wanted to be channeled by me. And the Pleiadian said, we will help you. And then they came through almost immediately after that on the first attempt. And so that was in the beginning of May. And then I got contacted again by the Tall Whites, who are using me initially as kind of a front man to help tell their story and to help them put them in touch with the individuals who can help them prepare and adjust to interacting with humanity after the humans ascend, because then their vibrational frequencies will be detectable by humans. So they will be forced to interact with us because humans will know. And once humans know, they want this to go on their terms. So they are being proactive and controlling as much of this as they can to integrate with humanity in ways which are more beneficial to everyone involved, because they know, let's say, some humans can be undependable and maybe unstable.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I'm a Leo born and Leo rising, so talking about myself is something which I've given myself several awards for already. You're still muted, Luis. Well, you're muted now.
I was just going to recap all the entities and beings that have come forward tonight through the three channelers. You know, we started with Chris coming through Serge Rambois, 43 years in the business, phenomenal deep wisdom of Chris. And then Brother Francis brought, God, Brother Francis, I forgot, 7?
Yeah, yeah. The Akhenaten, I think Nefertiti joined him, and then you had a the Angel of Grace. She was
Angel of
first,
Grace, yeah.
and then you had a new guy that just popped into my apartment and wanted to say something, and that was Balu, Bahlu, but I think he spells it Bhlu. And then there was my late mother, Mother Grace, and then her mother, my grandma Charlotte. And then, of course, you asked the question, and my higher self took over and provided the information. So, yeah, that was a lot. I was feeling it all week. I said, "There's gonna be a."
There was a moment that was very interesting, Brother Francis. You really don't know about it, but Christiane Anna, she was going to ask that question to the Angel of Grace, and
Mhm.
then you move on to other entities, you know. And so she put in there, "Oh, the Angel of Grace is now not available." And I said, "No, you can get him back in no time. It's a quick."